I don't usually lay out everything before I put it in my pack. Usually I just put it in my pack and check everything off on the checklist as I go. But I thought it might be interesting to spread it all out and kind of just go through it. Over here on the left, we have a dry bag. And then I have my bread bags. And along with the bread bags, I have some nitrile gloves. I also have liner gloves, excuse me. I have a balaclava, which acts as a hat, or you can pull it down over your face. I don't think it's going to get that cold this weekend, but you're always better to be too prepared. My extra socks, a pair of underpants, my long underpants and long undershirt, hooded undershirt that I'll sleep in. And then we have my synthetic jacket. Next we have my raincoat, my rain pants, and my rain hat. And then with that we have the bug net. And we have the first aid kit. And one of my 2 headlamps. I carry 2 headlamps because I use rechargeable LED headlamps. And if one of them breaks, you end up with no light. You can't really fix it in the field. So I like to, because I go by myself a lot, it's important that I always have a light if one breaks. So I usually have 2. I also have 2 smart water bottles. Those are compatible with the water filter. And I actually have 2 of them in here. The Sawyer Squeeze and a Sawyer Squeeze Mini, and some CNOC bags that are more convenient to use than the Sawyer bags. Also a trowel, in case you have to go to the bathroom and bury anything. Down here we have my ditty bag. And in it I have some matches. I also have extra matches in a Seal-O-Meal bag, just because if everything gets wet, you want to have dry matches. I also have a pen and some paper. I have some cords which are specifically to use with my tent to tie out the flies if I need to do that. I have my other headlamp. I have here my power brick with the 3-in-1 adapter cord that can be used to charge the headlamps, my GoPro, and my iPhone. And then I have my earplugs, some parts for my hearing aid, the tick key to take off a tick, extra matches, as we said, and then toothbrush and toothpaste, my pills in a small bottle, compass. I actually have a mask in here left from when it was important to carry them. Not as important these days, but I'll leave it in here anyway. And so that's what's in the ditty bag. Also, I have over here the cord I would use by myself if I was going to bear bag my food. I will also take more cord to bear bag all the food for 12 people. And then a map of the area we're going to. Over here we have the pack itself, which on the bottom of it right now it has a Z-Rest pad already attached. I didn't take that off. And then we have my sleeping bag. I have a REI Magma 15 down sleeping bag, so it fits in a relatively small stuff sack. It would stuff much smaller than that, but that's small enough to fit in my pack. And to the left of that I have my tent, which is a Dyneema tent, and it's relatively small and very light. It's 1 pound and 4 ounces, I believe. And here we have our food. I won't open it right now, but we have my stove, which has a pot stand, the fuel container. It has the stove itself. It has a couple paper towels just to wipe out the pot afterwards. It has some matches. And here's my food bag, which is going to be a little stuff sack. And I have some Nuun so I can flavor my water. I have some Ovaltine. I have my spoon, some Lara bars. I have a note that just says lunch. And that's because I'm going to leave that sticking out of my pack as a reminder that the day we go, I have to put my lunch in so I don't leave and go hiking and leave my lunch back in the cooler or something. And then I have here as a sample, because I have one in the house. It's a, freeze-dried meal. This may not be what I take on the hike, but this would be sufficient to take on the hike. And then I have here a bag with muesli and powdered milk, and that's my breakfast. And then I have a trash bag, so if I have any food leftover stuff, I can put it inside this, and then it'll keep it all sealed and it won't end up leaking in my pack, and I can put that in the beer bag when we hang that at night. So this is everything that I have, and then we'll do a little video of putting everything in. I just wanted to mention that these yellow, which is I believe a 10 liter, the red, which is a 5 liter, and then the blue, which is like a 3 liter or something. You can get those 3 waterproof dry bags on Amazon for, well, they were like $10 when I got them. Who knows, this year they may be $12. But you get the 3 of them together, and they're only like $10, that kind of price. And they're well worth the money. Okay, so just a little closer look at my cook kit. What I have here is just a titanium pot with a cover. This one has the graduation marks on the sides. You can tell how much water you're boiling. That comes in handy, although it is hard to read. And inside that, the little folding pot stand, which mounts the fuel bottle to keep it from tipping over. And if you've ever dumped over your water, especially if it already has the food in it, you'll appreciate having something that makes it more difficult to tip over the stove. I have dumped over a pot full of spaghetti once. So the little cook set starts with the pot stand in the bottom, and then the upside down fuel canister. And this is a little BRS 3000 stove. You can get them on Amazon for like $17. I've had good luck. The reviews on them are good. And it comes in this little bag to keep it clean, because you don't want to get any dirt in the nozzle. That goes inside. A package of matches. I keep some paper towels in there. It serves 2 purposes. It gives me something to wipe the pot if I have food in it or something. If I drink hot chocolate out of it and I want to wipe the pot afterwards. And then it also keeps everything from rattling. The next thing I have is a koozie. When you make the meal, you boil 2 cups of water, and if you have a typical backpackers type meal, it'll say pour in 2 cups of water and then wrap it up in something to keep it warm. Well, they have all kind of fancy things, but I found that the Amazon Prime envelopes, which are bubble wrap envelopes made out of plastic, if you get the right one, it's just the right size to hold a backpacker meal, and you can fold the top over. And then you can just lean that against your pack or a tree and let it sit there for 20 minutes, and it doesn't get cold while everything's rehydrating. So I have one of those, which I wrap around the pot, and it just goes into a little stuff sack to hold everything together, so my cook kit's all in one place. What I do is I put my tent in the bottom of my pack, just because it doesn't need to be inside the pack liner. As a pack liner, I use a trash compactor bag because they're heavier weight than a regular trash bag, but a regular trash bag works fine. They just don't last as long. And then this is the bag with my sleeping bag in it. Put that in. This is the dry bag. You can tell the difference by the colors. This is the one with all of my extra clothes in it. And I put that in beside it. And those are the 2 large bags inside. The 3rd bag I have here is the food bag, and that has everything related to the food. And that can get pressed in. Slid down. And then the stove can go in on top of that. Just keep going. The battery's charged and it's set to record for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or something. Okay, so now in the top of my pack, I put the first aid kit. I put my raincoat, my rain pants, my rain hat, none of which we're going to need this weekend, hopefully, but you always take them, and my bug net, which we might need this weekend. And then last of all, I put one of my headlamps up here where I can get to it quickly, after making sure that it's in the lock mode, so that it's not in the lock mode. After putting it in the lock mode, one of my headlamps, so I can get to that if I need to. And then I have a little mesh pocket on the back of my pack. That's where I just put my ditty bag because I need to get that frequently. I put my tea bottle just because it's big and it doesn't fit many other places. Right now I have on my Z-Rest. I also have here my air mattress. I don't need both of them. I haven't made up my mind which one I'm going to take. So for right now I'll put both of them in. And then I guess the last thing we left out here is the water filter can go in the back pocket, so it's reasonably accessible. The little trowel can go in the side pocket, as well as the smart water bottles, one of which has to get water in it. And I'll just throw the cup in the top of my pack. Yep. And then you just take the trash bag liner and you roll it up so if any water gets in through the top of the pack, it won't get in through the trash can liner. Then you roll up the top of the pack, snap it. The last thing are just the things that go in my side pockets. The left-hand side I keep a couple of the off towelettes in case there's some bugs. And the knife in case we need to cut anything. And on the other side I keep my toiletries, which I carry wet ones because sometimes toilet paper isn't enough to get you really clean. Those help to do a better job of washing. And then just a Ziploc bag with toilet paper in it. And last but not least, hand sanitizer, which needs to be refilled, so I won't put that in quite yet.